Well, it's time to talk about a subgenre of film I don't really talk about very often on this channel, and that's comedy. I decided to rewatch a comedy from 2018 that I've only seen like twice, so I thought I'd give it another go and stuff, and yeah. That was Game Night. So this one was pretty popular when it came out. A lot of people were talking about it and stuff like that. So yeah, it was released by New Line Cinema February 22nd, 2018. Starring Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, which you can actually see them on the cover there. And it was produced by Toby Emmerich, Ronald Emmerich's son. Written by Mark Perez and directed by John Francis, who's also done films... Oh, John Francis Daly, sorry. Who's also done films like Freaks and Geeks, Vacation 2015, the remake, Waiting, Horrible Bosses, and it was also co-directed by Jonathan Goldstein, who's done most of the films that I just named off with John Francis Daly. And they've also worked together on films like Stuber, Spider-Man Homecoming, Horrible Bosses 2, Cloudy and Chance of Meatballs 2, and a couple others. They have a pretty good track record for decent films, at least. So yeah, but Game Night is a pretty generic comedy, but it has a decent setup at least. So basically, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams play a husband and wife where in the beginning you learn that they both have a love for games, whether it's like trivia or like Pictionary and all that kind of fun stuff. And so they have a huge obsession for games and always very competitive. And so they basically meet each other, fall in love and stuff. And then it cuts to like more modern times where they're married and then they're trying to have a kid, but they realize it's a little hard and something's not working down there. And basically they come to a conclusion with the doctor that Jason Bateman's character's brothers come in, who's always been like the winner and always doing really well at games and stuff like that, where his brother always tries to be like him and stuff. So so that's probably one of those stressors and stuff. So they go on and they do their game night normally and stuff, and they also have like a creepy neighbor whose wife divorced him, but they were good friends with the neighbors and they game night all the time, but now they don't want the creepy neighbor in on the game night, so they try to like beat around the bush pretending they're not having one. Then the brother shows up and basically spoils it for him. And yeah, but then the brother shows up and he has a new twist on Game Night where he wants to do like a murder mystery sort of thing, which sort of leads into more actual crimes he's done, and you sort of learn that throughout the story. But where these two are always thinking it's still part of the game, where half of it's reality, half of it's not, but you can never tell which is which of like what's part of the game and what's not, for the most part. So, yeah, and then it escalates even further, it gets really crazy and chaotic, and yeah, Game Night would never be the same. So, overall, this film is pretty fun. It's full of action and entertaining, a lot of good jokes in there, and yeah, overall the acting, the cinematography, even the music and everything is really well done. The main complaint I have about this film is it seems pretty generic for a comedy than something off the wall. It has a good setup, like having a game night and they're doing the murder mystery sort of thing and stuff, but then it falls under once the setup is done, then it falls under your typical comedy tropes. It has your over the top like action. It goes into like a lot of like chaos and violence and stuff like that, and a lot of like good typical humor that you find nowadays in movies and stuff. So there's nothing like too bending, like too new to bring to the table here, besides an interesting sort of setup. But for the most part, it is fun, but I still found it, I can't really put my finger on it, but I think it's still pretty generic. It's almost like those adventure comedies, like Vacation, the 2015 remake, or We're the Millers, where it's basically just a typical road trip. It's like that, but there's like a little bit of crime and stuff, which you kind of get in like Ride Along and stuff like that, which we've all seen before. Like, I wanted something a little more different, but for what it is, it's still fun. It's a good ride, and it's still entertaining and funny. Like, but overall, I still have a sort of like a generic sort of feel to it, which is a little bit of a bummer. But other than that, it's pretty decent. I'm gonna give this one a 3.5 out of 5, just because I don't think it deserves anything higher than that. It's nothing super astounding or anything like that. It's just a good time, and it's one you probably forget in like a week or two. So, game night, fun time, but it's just like all the other modern comedies out there, just with like a little interesting setup and to help make the story a little bit different. So, yeah. Yeah, comment your opinions down below of what you thought of it. I'd love to hear what you think, because yeah, I'm only giving it a 3.5 out of 5, so whatever. But yeah, but there's also a trailer link down below, and also my Instagram's always linked down below, where I post clips of films going to be in the future on my story. I usually have the title of the film and a hashtag, and I usually put the subgenre of film in there in case it's something you're not interested in, you're aware of it. So make sure you follow me on Instagram to stay in the loop. Make sure you like this video, share it somewhere people are aware of it, and comment if you have any comedies that you think I should check out, or any other films at all that you want to hear my opinions on. Comment those down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And also make sure you subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to talk about next, which I don't even know what the hell I'm going to talk about next. It was good seeing a comedy for once, but yeah, we'll see if, what I can find in my massive movie stacks that I haven't really talked about yet, and maybe find something interesting. So, till the next one, cheers.